Hey everyone, today's topic, work on becoming less self-conscious. I've noticed that a lot of people by default are rather self-conscious, and this makes sense, right? Because most of us see the world from our own perspective. We're in our heads way too much, especially probably even nowadays because people are addicted to social media, which tends to give them anxiety, and if you're anxious, it makes you turn inwards, which makes you kind of too concerned about what other people are thinking of you, which makes me self-conscious. So there you go. I'm generalizing like crazy here, but this probably affects quite a lot of people out there nowadays. So it's not helpful to be self-conscious because it's not really accurate. What I mean is, quite often the beliefs we have of what other people think of us aren't true. They're not accurate. Because we often think the worst. We think people are judging the crap out of us. We think if we were to trip and fall in front of other people, that they immediately think we're a moron and they're going to be laughing at us for like 10 minutes afterwards. But that's not really how things work in reality, because many people out there are kind of in the same headspace as you. So if you're incredibly self-conscious, so too are other people, which means they're not spending all that much time judging you. They're actually more so thinking what others are thinking of them, just like you are. So there you go. Does that make sense? So even if you do something rather embarrassing, like tripping in front of others and falling flat on your face, people may smirk for like less than a minute, and then they'll go on with their day and they'll forget that it happened. They're not going to sit there and keep judging you for like minutes on end after it happens. No, most people will probably just think, oh, that sucks. That sucks for that person. I hope it doesn't ruin their day. And then they'll move on. But so often we think, oh my God, that's the end of the world. Like, if there are any attractive women around here, I have no chance with them anymore. And oh my God, everybody thinks I'm an idiot. That's just not how things hold up in reality. And even going beyond embarrassment, quite often we believe people think less of us than they actually do. Many people out there, this is tied to having probably like average, if not lower self-esteem as well, because people who have that lower self-esteem, or even just average self-esteem, which isn't great either, usually they're going to think that people don't find them all that impressive, because that's a consequence of having that lowered self-esteem. So they'll quite often greatly underestimate what others, or the way others view them. Quite often people view us in a higher regard, or they hold us in a higher regard, should I say, than we realize. Especially if you're a good person, especially if you take good care of yourself, especially if you're like physically fit and you have good posture and you outwardly display confidence. Even people who look confident can quite often not be as confident as they seem. But other people will look at them and go, holy crap, this person is like amazing. Like they're walking with perfect posture. They look really self-assured. I wish I was like them. And yet that person may be thinking in their mind, oh my God, other people are probably judging me right now. I don't feel, I'm not having the best day, or whatever may be going through their heads. And they'll underestimate the way other people are viewing them. Even if it's just like your average Joe going down the street who isn't walking with perfect posture, they too will probably still believe that people are viewing them in way lesser regard than is actually the case, because people just aren't often going to assume the worst about us and have all these make all these negative assumptions about us. It just isn't quite often how people are in reality. You will get some people like that, don't get me wrong. They definitely exist. We have a word for them, negative Nancy's, right? They are people whose opinions don't matter anyway, because they only tend to see the negative in things. So what they think of you doesn't even matter. Their opinion is worthless because it basically only goes one way, which is negative. That's unhelpful. You want people who are more balanced, who can give you the truth, whether or not it hurts. Negative Nancy is not giving you the truth. They're giving you their disformed, misguided view of reality because they don't like the way their life is. They likely don't like themselves, and that's the way they view the world, based on that lens that they're looking through. And it's not a great one. So don't even trip over their opinions of you. You want to focus on the average person and the fact that they likely aren't going to be thinking much of you, and if they do, they'll likely view you in a higher regard or hold you in a higher regard than you believe. So yeah, I just wanted to talk about this because a lot of people out there are rather self-conscious, and there's just no real need for it. Like, there really isn't, because unless you're like a celebrity and you're constantly in the spotlight, but even then, people likely hold celebrities in a higher regard than they realize. That this concept probably works for them just as much as it does for everyone else, if not maybe even more, because they're rich and famous, so everyone will assume that they're more confident than they are and that sort of thing, because a lot of celebrities are not at all like how they appear when they're out and about and being interviewed and that sort of thing. A lot of them are, putting on an act when they're in front of the camera. So yeah, just food for thought and a good reminder to strive not to be super self-conscious when you're out and about. There's just no need for it. But that's pretty much all I have for you guys in this video. I truly hope you enjoyed this one. If you like content like this, be sure to subscribe for more. Otherwise, the easiest way you can help me out is just to throw a like and a comment on the video for the algorithm. And I will see you guys in the next one. Arrivederci!